Okay, once you have all the images uploaded to the website, you can start working on the articles. It just makes it easier to have the images all ready to go on the server before starting to do your articles. So we move over to the content area. There's an article manager, but before we do the articles, we've organized them into categories and sections. So I'm going to take a look at just to look at the section manager, because we're going to have to create a new category or section to work on called November 2011. So you can see all the sections here we have. If we can find October, what I usually do is I find the last one, October 2011, and I make a copy of this section. So and name it, then rename it November 2011. What this is going to do, it's going to take all the categories that I've created, which are sort of the categories are regulars, and then sort of the featured highlights categories, as well as editorial, and there's a couple other letters sort of categories. So there's 5 of them actually. So there's 5 different categories it's going to copy, and there's also within those categories there's 35 articles altogether. So those 35 articles will be copied as well. So all of October 2011 will be copied to November 2011. So the first thing, just check it there and click copy, and it's going to ask you copy to section. Well, we're going to name it November 2011, so that this is going to tell you what's being copied. Regulars, announcements, highlights, letters, bulletins, all the articles from that October are going to be copied over. It just gives us a template to start with, and then we'll go in and we'll change everything, these especially to November, these first 3. It usually takes a minute because it's quite a lot of articles for the system to copy over to the new section called November. So that's under Contents and Section Manager. So the first thing you do is copy all this stuff, rename it to the new month, and then we're going to go in and sort of edit it down. I like to keep all the regulars don't change or change very little month to month, so I keep all those articles and I can just go edit them. The highlights change, so I just go in and I delete all the highlights because we're going to start from fresh from those. And the announcements too, you can delete them since they're different. The letters, anyway, there's a few different things to change. So the section November 2011, all categories have been copied to November 12. So let's go find those category manager. First thing, we're going to go in there, and we can sort of, this shows you there's like 5 pages of highlights and all this from all the different tempos. This is going to continue to get larger and larger and larger and larger. It's fine. This system can take an infinite amount of articles and everything, so it can have thousands and thousands and thousands of articles in here, no problem. But the problem comes is trying to find all these things and organize them. So here we are. We can just select the section. This list is going to get very long, but we're looking for November 2011. You could also filter here as well. This is sort of like a search, but we're just going to click November 2011, and you'll see that we have, it's in the section, these categories, this is not a section, but these are the categories, are in the section November 2011. So what I like to do is just change the October, just edit these, so you can click on the title of the category and change that to November, of course. And this alias is actually what shows up in the URL up here, so we want to change that as well. But the easiest thing to do is just erase it completely. This is somewhat important to do this, to just make sure you just change the name to November and erase that, and then you can save it, of course. Okay, so that's been changed. That category is now November, so we'll do that for the announcements as well. This is just a bit of organization, but it's going to help us later on. And save that. Make sure you erase the alias there, which is the actual URL up there again. So we'll do the same thing for the highlights October. Put that in as November. And erase the alias and save that. Okay, we don't have to worry about these because there's no November after them. So now we can go down to our article manager. So we've done the section manager, we've corrected our categories to reflect November, and now we can go to the article manager. And the same thing here, the article manager, when you first click on it, it's going to show every single article that's ever been entered into the website. So you can see there's a whole bunch of pages here. Page 1 of 25. It only goes to 10, but there's 25 pages like this. Now you can display 20 at a time or 100 at a time. I suggest never to click all because you'll be waiting all day for it to show all the pages on one screen. So, but we only care about November right now, so we're going to select the section November. And that's going to reduce our number of articles down to, well, there's 2 pages now. We could actually do this to, well, 50. We know there's not 50. There is 35. So that's going to show all the articles for the month of October, which are sitting in the November section. We could even select the category, which is the highlights for November, and that will reduce our number even more. You could select the author and things like that as well. But these ones we don't really need. So what I do is I click this button here and I check them all and I trash them, because we're going to, for the highlights, we're going to create all new ones because they've changed every month. So we have nothing in our highlights now. If we go, if we go back to our regulars, well, we'll keep those because we're going to use a lot of the titles and things. Like the editorial doesn't change, so there's no point of recreating these articles. So let's get started.